Hey, everybody, and welcome to
another
fucking episode of Raw Dogs where we talk about Final Fantasy VII.
Another
one.
Can you believe it?
Even for me, and I have a high tolerance for long-form podcasting about anime bullshit. And
You also have a tolerance because you have Elden Dogs.
Elden Dogs. Someone asked me the other day how much Elden Ring have I played, and I was like, probably about 200 hours, maybe. And
That can't be right. It's got to be way more.
No, it doesn't. I'm more into the research and the lore and the world. It's probably more, but I don't think a lot more. But I have podcasted like 60 hours about it, which that's a lot of talking about it.
That's an insane amount.
But Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is what we're on today, part 3.
Part 3. This is when we get into it.
Well, I mean, I feel like we've been in Gaia for a long time now, you and me.
Gaia.
I'm Brad.
I'm Dylan.
Yes. So if you're listening, you found your way here to a great podcast, and we appreciate it. And when we left off, our beloved party has just gotten through the mountains, and they have arrived at North Corel. Mm-hmm. Our friend Barrett gets immediately accosted. What are your thoughts on Barrett's story in this game?
It's really strange. The kind of shift they make from the original is actually pretty fascinating.
What shift would that be?
It's not as quick. They give him more time.
Yeah.
The other one, I believe...
It's very isolated in the original game, where it's like all of Barrett's story happens here, and then he doesn't have a lot to do afterwards, it seems.
And it seems like they're actually giving him a lot more to do in future games as well. They're setting up a lot of, just character for him. And I like that, because usually once you're done with that, they're just a member of your party, and then you all have to face the big bad, whatever that means. Obviously, it's Sephiroth this time, but...
Yeah, all the characters get a lot more room to breathe as just you're wandering around. Everyone's kind of just the chatter back and forth. Mm-hmm. At one point, Yuffie's talking about how she can clone people, and she makes a joke about how I bet Cloud would like to have a bunch of Tifa's cloned, and everyone gets really quiet. I'm like, well, it's because obviously everyone does.
Is she canon Bae in this game?
Tifa?
Yeah,
not canon because it can be Aerith. It seems like they're pushing Tifa as like the more canon, though.
If Aerith dies, spoiler,
what?
I guess.
What?
Well, I thought. Now listen, do you remember all those years back when we first started Raw Dogs?
Yeah,
I said, I'm like, they're not going to kill Aerith this time.
Yeah, and they didn't, and they did.
They did and didn't.
Yes.
They took
Schrodinger's cat.
They took essentially, yeah, but they took the road and never traveled, I guess is the way to do it.
They're having their cake and eating it too a little bit, which
it's silly. It's just silly.
I ultimately become disappointed at the end of this game. I really like the problem is, I love 95% of what this game does and the decisions it makes, and
I'm at about 90.
In Kingdom Hearts 3, when they don't do any story the entire time, and then all of a sudden they just plot dump 5 hours of cutscenes and the whole everything that happens, and it feels kind of like that's what happens here. And maybe they realized that all of that at the end was a little overwhelming in Rebirth, and that's why they added maybe the Zack interludes weren't originally there, because they seem so non sequitur.
Yeah, but they have to be there.
Well, I think maybe they realized they needed them and they went back. I don't know.
I feel like
it seems like there should be more to it. Like Zack should have just been a DLC after the fact. If there was just the Zack,
that's not a DLC though. You don't do enough.
But if it should have been a DLC and add more to it, because also the interlude, it feels like as soon as something might exciting be happening, he's going to go and do Shinra Tower again. I'd play that again if it was just Zack breaking into Shinra Tower and it's a quick hour-long thing and there was a 10-hour DLC of him going through those things. I could fuck with that. But it seems so out of place here.
Yeah, I mean, I hate the Zack portions. If I ever play it again, I will not even touch that.
Yeah.
Given my druthers, I just don't want to. Zack is interesting as a character, and I will grant people that at the very least. Some people, as we've said before, it's their favorite character.
That's just so crazy to me.
It's like having Boba Fett as your favorite character.
I can appreciate... At least Boba Fett is a unique design, whereas Zack is just Cloud with different hair. Ish. No, he's a little more silly, but...
I think the joke is... Not the joke. The idea is that he is what Cloud always wanted to be.
What you think about... he idolized it, but when you think about like character development or understanding someone's quirks, like... You think about Yuffie. I'm like, oh, okay. I get her. Everything she does adds to her character, a picture of who she is.
The thief from a war-torn country who had to scrape to get by. That's
all
pretty
of them.
Easy, yeah.
You could say any of them. And Sid. We haven't even spent much time with Sid, but okay, horrible, tragic backstory. Kind of became an abusive drunk, and he's trying to like work through some heavy past stuff.
Well, this one's interesting because they include him pretty early on.
Hey there, Aerith. I knew your mom a little bit.
I knew your mom. that was weird to me.
Did Sid say he banged Aerith's mom?
I think he kissed her at least.
I think he gave her a little smoochy.
I think they kissed.
I think he likes older women, older ancients, older
Cetra. No, wait a minute. In Final Fantasy VII, Sid is 38.
I think that we're Sid age right now. I think he's like 35.
That can't be true.
I think he's like 35.
No,
come on. When you think about the oldest man in RPGs, they're 35.
I'm looking this up.
Look it up. So we get into North Corel, and everybody's immediately in Barrett's face. Clearly, he's getting blamed for some tragedies that happened here. And Yuffie tries to stand up and say, "You don't talk to Barrett like that." And he says, "Nope, stay down. This is not worth fighting."
Fuck.
How old is Sid? 35?
No.
32?
32.
Fuck us.
God damn it.
And he had his own company, his own aviation company. Here we are raw dogging it.
Oh, my God. This sucks.
He already had a tragic backstory.
Well, Barrett's near 40, right?
No.
What?
No, Barrett's probably like 30. It don't matter none, but...
it matters to me.
And Yuffie's like 15, 14? Yeah.
No, I knew that. He's 35.
35.
You are.
The oldest man in RPGs on your party is 35.
It's not true.
It depends on your RPGs. If you want to get to like your nuanced... like,
well, if we're talking Final Fantasy, the oldest is 85.
Who is that? FF4?
Final Fantasy 4, yeah.
The old guy?
The sage?
Not Edgar.
I forget his fucking name.
Yes, he says you spoony bard.
Yeah.
Yep. We run into a doctor in North Corel named Dr. Sheeran. Cloud has a vision and tries to kill the doctor. And Bear's like, don't do that.
This is one of the problems I had with the game.
Because dude, if I saw you try and kill someone, I wouldn't just like stop you and then let's just keep hanging out.
No, you would be like, you need help.
We should do something about this.
Well, I would expect you to as a friend.
And same for me.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, well, wait a minute. Why did you do that and how?
This seems bad.
Well, that guy has ties to Shinra, clearly.
He's a good guy, though.
No, he is.
Yes.
That's why he left.
He's studying cellular degradation. And so he's studying the robed men, trying to figure out what's going on. Essentially, it's just kind of rehashing stuff we already know.
That's all this game is, though.
They got Genova cells. They're degrading. Sephiroth reunion.
I would say that this game is a lot of spinning the same wheel. The further and further I got.
Yeah. Well,
other than following the story, which in 7, the original, actually kind of made sense. I was in on it. And it was kind of like, we have to keep following Sephiroth. And this one, it kind of drags a lot.
Well, to me, it's not about the destination. It's about the journey here. And I don't care about the robe men. I don't care about finding Sephiroth. But like the moment to moment gameplay and exploring the new areas, the cities. Some, like say, 2/3 of the mini games I enjoyed. I'm being generous with 2/3 maybe, but I enjoyed a fair amount of things. But to me, it's not like I can't wait to get to the end of the game, or I'm not narratively motivated.
I would say that the first game set up such an intriguing thing, a beast, kind of this whole concept of a Final Fantasy VII multiverse.
Yeah.
And in this game, they did not execute it basically at all. They kind of chose to, kick the tires and just kind of wander around. And I don't know.
It could have been a lot more bold, I think, because it's...
Make a choice, because if they say that you're on a brand new journey, kind of the same shit happens, but with a different flavor.
It's FF7 Remake again, where it's mostly all the same shit happens, but whispers enough to just change a little bit. And to me, after the remake, it should have been, we go in a different order. Are things vastly different?
Well, I mean, they got to get across that continent, I guess. Or, I don't know. To me, and this is for my gamer bros out there.
Gamer bros.
Shout out the difference between regular Cheetos and Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
And you know if you know.
You know if you know, man.
Fuck the puffs.
You got to get the extra hot, though.
I hate Cheeto Puffs.
Cheeto Puffs are gross.
I like the little crunchies.
I don't understand people who like puffs in general.
I agree.
They're kind of gross.
So we go from the poorest, most destitute area, and then we go straight to an amusement park built on top of it. Gold Saucer, wow.
It's cool.
I loved it. I thought it was brilliantly designed. There's a lot of love and effort that went into art, design, layout. All of that is just, I think, top notch.
No, I actually agree. And I think the only thing that really deterred me from it was the amount of cutscenes in that area specifically. There were a ton. And I understand it. In like anime, they do this thing where oftentimes in this like really intense kind of battle show, they'll have something like a beach episode.
Or a baseball episode in Dragon Ball Z.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it will literally just be full of humor and interesting things and yada yada.
It's Jubilee in the new X-Men when she goes into the video game.
Yeah. I mean, it is the same. And I feel like it's such an atonal shift,
which I like. I do like those segments,
right.
But you're right. It is to step aside from the story for an hour.
And I love Gold Saucer in this. I think it's really fun and interesting, but I did skip a lot of cutscenes.
I bet you didn't skip the first cutscene.
No.
The first cutscene when
they're on the lift.
A giant flamboyant performance begins. Yuffie gets added to the dance where she has a costume change. Tifa and Aerith get pulled in as well, and then Dio, my man, Dio looks great.
Dio's so good.
Dio's got like John Cena energy, kind of.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, just like overly buff, but like super charismatic and fun. The dude that just wears a pair of undies out and just like flexes hard, good hairy chest.
That's why you like me.
And your muscles, Dylan.
I do have them. It's just they're hidden under a lot of fat.
It is odd though that like there's this huge crescendo of party, and then it's like, let's have a retro fight duel.
Yeah. How do you feel about that minigame?
There's a trick to it.
I hate it.
there's a trick to it.
I don't care.
Now, it's called pause buffering. So whenever, because there's tells, if they go
did they take this out?
Well, no, it's still in there. It's like, if they pull straight back with their right, that means you're supposed to like block a certain direction.
Okay.
And you can like see what their tells are. And what you do is the moment they move, if you hit pause, you can see specifically like where it is. And then you can, rather than having to make a split second decision, you can see what they're doing. And then just like you enter the input as you unpause.
That's fine. I don't know.
That's the only way that I was able to beat the final mini game version where you're fighting like Sephiroth.
Oh boy. I didn't even try.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just in it to do certain things.
I like the Haunted Hotel. I like that they have a Tonberry air purifier walking around your room. That's pretty like, oh, this is stupid and awesome.
Well, it's fun because the only hotel there is the haunted one, full of really annoying shit.
Yeah. Lisa has 4 floors now. And Barrett's the only one who's honest. Like, honestly, this is pretty stupid.
I'm on his side.
We're killing the planet for
35-year-old Barrett. Jesus Christ.
He's our age.
Fuck.
With a daughter, and he's responsible for destroying an entire village-ish. His best friend is either dead or not. Barrett's got the most emotional story in this entire game.
Let me think. Yes, you're right.
I mean, I can't imagine anyone that comes close to it. Leslie, of course, the beloved Leslie, who's looking for his lost lover.
Oh, boy.
Kyrie.
Oh, man.
Merc with a heart of gold.
She's so into it. God damn it.
Roche is just trying to get laid.
Roche just wants to fuck the shit out of Cloud.
Dude, he's in.
But we all know Cloud's not a bottom.
We do, though, get introduced to Kate Sith and Moogie,
Yeah.
Speaking of bottoms.
Moogie. We've talked about Moogie before. Listen to our episode about Final Fantasy VII proper.
Kate Sith is fucking awesome in this game.
He's so good.
Everything they did with the voice performance and the animation for how Kate Sith sits on top of Mog, I think is the technical name. Yeah.
He's named after the Moogle in Final Fantasy VI.
Okay.
There's a playable Moogle character called Mog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They still do a pretty poor job of explaining what the fuck Kate Sith is, but I think that's one of those things where the more you explain it, it's not additive to know more about it. Like, knowing more makes it worse, if anything.
I think actually they do a way better job of explaining what it means than the original game did.
In the fact that they do any explaining what it is in this game rather than what the original game did.
Everyone knows he's a robot.
Yeah.
And they know that there's someone behind it at any given moment or like time.
And they know that he works for Shinra. And they even address it. And that for some reason they're like, yeah, so let's let robot cat spy who works for Shinra come with us.
I think what's interesting, especially about Kate Sith, is it was a real opportunity to change the combat.
Yes.
Because all your characters generally wield weapons, whether it be fists, guns for arms, swords,
Yes.
shuriken. With this one, it's a megaphone, ostensibly.
Yes. Let's talk about Kate Sith's combat. We can jump ahead.
Sure.
You like it.
I like it. He's my favorite character to play as.
I could never figure it out.
You hop off the Moogle attacks on its own.
Well, first you summon the Moogle.
You have to summon the Moogle.
Yep.
I like it. There's something cool about how you can only do certain things on the Moogle and do certain things off the Moogle.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a mount that moves around and can potentially be a fourth party member if you're using it correctly.
And you can do magic as Cait Sith while Mog is out there doing stuff. That's, I think, good utility.
And there's also luck-based spells.
He's got some
abilities.
And those abilities get crazy scaling with his folio because plus 100 luck.
That's all I did.
Yes.
And that's how I beat Sephiroth at the end.
My understanding of the way to beat the toughest bosses in the game is Cait Sith.
Yeah.
He becomes OP. And I don't know if it's a little bit like Yojimbo and FF10 where you can kind of cheese the system to just kind of one-hit kill enemies a little bit, but I think that's part of it. Yes, you have regular swings with your megaphone. If you hold square, you do an AoE attack where you just kind of bounce with the megaphone. Mm-hmm. Triangle does Kitty Wallop, which has him jump into the air and attack for moderate damage. Let's Ride, you mentioned that.
So I used Cait Sith as kind of a distraction for the most part.
Yeah.
When Aerith really needed some time to regain some of her stamina, her active time battle.
She's very slow.
Her bars, I know.
Yeah.
I would switch to Cait Sith basically right away, but I knew maybe I needed Thundaga, and I would just be like, all right, we're going to let her do that on her own. I can distract, and I can kind of cheese the enemy. If Mog and Cait Sith were both attacking the same enemy, you could kind of stun lock them.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've found.
Sure.
She would be able to get that up no time.
Some of his abilities, he can do the Moogle Knuckle, which you usually got to pay extra for. Getting one of those. That does stagger damage. Lady Luck will buff luck for all allies, roll the dice, random numbers, and effects. Attacking the same enemy as the Moogle causes Cait Sith to raise its special attacks more quickly. As the Moogle fights unmounted, it also special attack rise. Once it reaches second tier, it'll cause a random buff to the whole party. Mm-hmm. Once it reaches third tier, it causes a random debuff to all enemies. Interesting character.
Well, what's cool is you can use that as a strategy. Yeah. So what I would do is I would stay on the Moogle, and then I would split, and then I would keep fighting. But when an enemy was going to have like one of their big attacks and I could telegraph it, I would get back on the Moogle and he would have a higher HP essentially.
Yeah.
And it was nice because I would survive anything.
There were points where I enjoyed it, but mostly I struggled a lot with Cait Sith. But that's one of those things. I think any character, the more time you put into him, the more you're going to get out of him.
Right.
And that's just the cost of having unique characters. People are going to gravitate certain ways. Did you do much of the mini games in Gold Saucer?
I think I did them all.
You did them all?
At least I tried them all.
What did you think of, what was it, the Galactic Survivors rail shooter?
It's not bad.
It's fine. There was Queen's Blood. There's the G-Bike minigame, which is just the same game from last game.
I hate it.
3D Brawler. I liked 3D Brawler quite a bit, actually. We got Chocobo Racing. We can talk about that in a second, but we have our first date here where we go to the Skywheel Square. A party member comes to the door. Tifa for me.
Aerith.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the date gets cut short because apparently there's a man with a gun for an arm shooting people. Shouldn't laugh, but it's a thing.
It's honestly a better told story than the other game.
Well, and I like
part of it.
I like that Dio confronts you. He's like, well, it sure seems like it's got to be Barrett. What we're going to do is clip these things on your wrists to keep track on you, and give you an opportunity to go and try and sort this out.
Well, I kind of like that. It's sort of a Suicide Squad thing.
What are we, some sort of Suicide Squad?
Damn, dude.
That should be a line.
It's so deep.
Yeah. That movie, it's almost as good as Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Actually,
that was one of Zack Snyder's better films, but...
That's not Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Oh, his 4-hour one?
It was okay, though.
I like the 4-hour one.
Yeah, better than the other one.
Well, that's a Joss Whedon film.
The Justice League. Yes. The Dust Bowl is pretty fun. We meet... what's his name? Solemn Gus, the sleazy kingpin. We have to race Chocobo.
Solemn Gus.
It's a pretty good name, right?
No. Solemn Gus? Solemn Gus sounds like he's on the brink of suicide himself.
What adjective? What adjective describes how cool I am?
Oh,
solemn.
Oh boy. You know what? I'm resigned. It's resigned Gus.
I'm resigned, Brad.
I'm resigned, Brad.
It is what it is. I can't do nothing about it.
Hey, man. Hey, you know what? It is what it is.
Hey, they call me apathetic Brad. I don't give a fuck.
You give a fuck, but you're just resigned to it.
I'm just resigned. Fuck. I do like that we get jumped in the Dust Bowl by like 5 fucking gang members, and despite the fact that we've defeated Sephiroth, they get the jump on us.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
We get a mini game here. We get Whack-A-Box Part 2. Which I actually liked more this time.
I like Whack-A-Box in the first game.
I guess I didn't like it as much in the first game.
I think it's because I wasn't thinking too hard about it when I played through the first time because you lent it to me.
Yeah.
And now that I'm kind of like, oh, what's the strategy of hitting the most boxes, getting the most points? And I don't know. I like it.
Yeah.
I thought it was enjoyable because it's the most not RPG thing.
Yeah.
In this, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things, but sure.
I don't know. I liked it.
Desert Rush was cool. We have to do some random fucking jobs to get Chocobo greens. Then we do a Chocobo race. Chocobo racing in this game
sucks.
I was going to say it's how much of it did you do outside of the
None. I didn't want to.
There's a lot.
I know. And I've heard from other people.
I think I did all 26 races.
It almost feels so you go onto these imaginary fields and you race the chocobos. My problem is that it's bad Mario Kart.
Yes, it's rudimentary Mario Kart. It plays fine.
It plays okay.
I like the drifting. The items are underbaked. I think it's acceptable, and I think as a mini game, it's pretty robust for a mini game in another game.
I mean, it's fine. It is better than the original. I will say that, but that's not saying a lot since it's been, like 20 years removed.
Yeah. I would like it more if, this just seems like a mobile game.
Yeah.
It plays as good as a high quality mobile game, which isn't a big compliment, but
they made one. It's called The First Soldier.
Did you, Solemn Gus leads us to a ladder that gets us to Barrett. Great. And then we get to have a Barrett flashback. He talks about dying, about how they tried to save the town, but Shinra pinned it on them.
Yeah.
And, yep.
No, that part was interesting, and I actually thought the person, both Japanese and English, did a really great job of portraying what insanity looks like.
For dying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I thought they did fantastically. In fact, I felt more because at the end of in 7, the original, it's basically that he falls off like a cliff. Mm-hmm. In this one, it's a little more symbolic, and it involves more of the characters that you've seen before.
Yeah.
I thought it worked really well.
Yeah. And Barrett is so tender when he finds, when he was able to find Dyne and he has to walk in there himself. Like, imagine trying to comfort your friend and he's still talking to his wife and kid that aren't there anymore.
It's like, hey, man, I know you're going through some stuff, but in real life, I'd be like,
he walks in like slow and delicate, and he's trying to relate. Yeah, Dyne is delusional, off his rocker. I thought the boss battle with Dyne, I put down some Resident Evil 8 Heisenberg nonsense.
Truly.
Why can he just fucking
control metal?
Control metal and zip it around.
I do not know. And that is a battle I did not like.
I didn't like it either. It was like some weird. It felt very gimmicky and not fun.
I was spamming potions because I'm like, I don't know what the gimmick is.
Okay, just fucking hide every time and then just jump out and use an ability.
Well, that's what they want with Barrett, but that's not fun.
Yeah. Barrett's a fun support character. Having him be like the main battler, I don't know. Plus, just all of that Heisenberg nonsense where it's just metal arms and attacks.
I know.
Some weird shit. Barrett removes his gun arm, though, and offers his life to Dyne. He's like, kill me. Like,
if this is what you want.
And, yeah.
He does mention Marlene at this point, right?
Barrett tells Dyne Marlene is alive and in Midgar, and Dyne initially is very happy about it. And then he becomes kind of more distraught because he says it's because Barrett took another thing from him, but that's just what he's saying. But because he just doesn't, he also says, like, I can't let Marlene see me. Like, this is bad and heartbreaking.
It is.
Yeah, absolutely. He does help you out. You have a few boss battles and you escape, but I mean that scene where Dyne is dying in Barrett's arms and Barrett's just screaming the sky. It works.
It actually does. We can thank the voice actor for that.
John Eric, we love you.
Absolutely.
Mr. Bentley. Yeah, there's a fucking weird mini game where you're shooting out at the back of a truck, and I do appreciate
Palmer.
There's a
Palmer's in like a mech.
The boss fight's cool. Yeah, but then you have like the truck chase, which whatever.
I mean, it's. I actually like that part. I like when they cap off something with another thing. I think that works.
Fun little end to the chapter.
Sure. I mean, it's like a cutscene when you're playing like God of War, like the originals. One of the things that works about that, like the original, like 1, 2, and 3 of God of War, is that they give you like a QTE to kind of like cap it off. In this, giving you something new to kind of fuck with is kind of interesting, I guess, because it is still a game that requires skill.
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked it.
I agree. Yes, the end of that segment we see in the Shinra building, Reeve alters the mugshots of Cloud, Tifa, and Barrett. Rufus is visited by Sung, who confirms that Turks are still tracking her, and Glenn Lodblock then appears in a vortex and mocks Rufus,
our favorite man,
before disappearing.
Oh my god!
Our next area is the Gungaga region. What did you think of Gungaga?
I thought it was a confusing map, maybe a little bit more telegraphing once you hit one of those mushrooms where the mushroom takes you.
Yes.
That would have been okay. But I found myself wandering around trying to hit locations and absolutely failing. I maybe spent the most time in Gungaga.
Yeah, I didn't have that much trouble with it. There was a few there's a few moments where I got really lost. I got really lost. Mostly though, I think the music goes pretty hard in this one. I do love the music.
Which is interesting because in the original game, it's literally just a forest you wander through on the map.
Yeah.
There's no actual map for it. There is, but it's so small.
Yeah, it's like 4 buildings, and then there's like
it's 4 screens.
Then the reactor's just like down a hall, pretty much.
Yeah.
We get to see our favorite character from Before Crisis, Cisne, sure. That's a thing that happens. Aerith speaks with Zack's parents, and Cloud has flashbacks. Aerith does briefly talk about her history with Zack, and then all of a sudden something's going on at the reactor. They really added a lot to the reactor segment.
Is Cloud really so hot that these women would like just be like, all right, he's crazy, but
there's something about those crazy bad boys, though. He always tries to kill people. Like, it's pretty cool.
Sometimes that's my appeal. I guess it's fine.
Sometimes when we're out at the bar, I'm like, I think Dylan could kill someone tonight. And everyone's so turned on.
Frankly, yeah.
Yeah. Even you're looking in the mirror, you're like, damn, I'm hot right now.
Damn, I could kill myself.
That's
so funny.
Old depressed Dylan.
No, I wouldn't kill myself. I'd kill the guy in the mirror.
Solemn Dylan.
Solemn Dylan. I love that. That's so funny.
This reactor segment is kind of bonkers. Well, for some reason, the first thing is they wake up and they're like, all right, all you girls stay here and protect the village.
I don't get it. They're like, we need a reason to have a 3-party crew.
It's like, well, we want to have these party dynamics. Just all you girls stay and protect the village. There's no one threatening the village.
Nobody's going for the
village. No one's threatening the village.
No one was going to.
This whole segment's very different. The reactor's got a lot of moving cords and boxes puzzles, which pissed me off.
Yuck.
Yuck.
It's like vacuuming up Mako.
God, I hate that shit. It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
Bad. It's so bad.
I do like the boss fight with Scarlet and Specimen H1024.
Oh, that is fun.
That is a cool boss.
I think the Specimen's weak to ice, and then she's weak to thunder.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I had such a good time with that.
A lot of fun. But the boys are in trouble.
Yeah.
Time for the girls.
The girls show up.
I guess they could have been there the whole time because they just leave the village completely unguarded at this point.
They were never going to attack the village.
But this is when we get introduced to the green chocobos and the mushrooms. So great. So let's say that you were run out of item in the game. What you might want instead of a mega elixir or a high potion, you might want to grab something called Magic Mind, Dylan. We've had it 21 days in a row now. We're doing the Magic Mind challenge. Magic Mind is a mental performance shot. It's an addition to your daily routine. It helps keep you focused, mentally clear, motivated, productive, all natural ingredients, high quality stuff. It helps prevent that crash when you're fighting Genova for the 10th time.
Oh, of course. That 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock hour. Sometimes it whips you into a frenzy.
It's great. And I like it because I still get to have my coffee in the morning. And normally, though, when that coffee wears off around 2 p.m., that's when Magic Mind really starts keeping me in the game. And not only in Final Fantasy VII, but also on the job site when I'm working my butt off to pay for Final Fantasy VII.
Honestly, I mix it in with my big jug of water for the day.
Oh, yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah, Magic Mind's wonderful. Time-release caffeine. It's doctor validated. Over 200 scientific studies behind every ingredient. We can't get enough of it, and it tastes great too. And what we want to extend an offer to you here at Hair of the Dogcast. We're so happy that Magic Mind is giving us an opportunity to help our listeners as well. There's a limited offer that you can take advantage of that gets you up to 48% off your first subscription or 20% off one-time purchases with the code HDogcast20 at checkout. You need to go to magicmind.com/HDogcast to use the code. That will be in the description as well for this episode. Magic Mind, you'll notice a difference right away, but what the subscription is so great is that some of the ingredients, they take a little bit longer to work into your regular routine, so we definitely encourage checking it out for the long run. But then the fight concludes with the Crimson Mare Mark II. Cloud, seeing Tifa in peril, runs to assist, and after seeing a vision of Sephiroth goading him into violence, he ruthlessly starts killing Shinra people. And I'm like, that's what we've been doing. That's not a big thing for me. We're not splitting hairs here. He's been killing everyone that's come to him before.
I've also got to say is that he slashes at Tifa's belly.
Yeah.
Forcing her to jump back with her fabulous reflexes and almost kills her. And then she falls into the water.
Yeah.
And I thought for a moment, I'm like,
this was actually going to be
what is going on?
If they had the balls that Tifa was actually killed by Cloud, could you imagine? And then they could move into Cloud's coma earlier and his like pure breakdown. And they're like, even though Tifa's gone, we have to stop Sephiroth. We need you.
I
just got chills thinking about how good that would have been.
Me too.
Yeah.
I kept thinking like,
that's
holy
a betrayal,
shit, though. What a decision.
Yeah.
But when someone literally like slashes at your belly and then they're kind of like sad about it afterwards, why wasn't the entire party just like, this sucks? Why the fuck did you do that?
No one gets in his face.
Nobody gets in his face. Not even Barrett, who's the closest to Tifa.
Not all of them. All of them should have, like, there's no way any of them.
Everyone would be, I'm sorry, I'm not traveling with you anymore. That would be my reaction.
And they could have had Cloud separated from the party, and then you're just lost without the party. That could be a really cool segment, and that would have been fun to like lose your support system.
No, but he sobs at the end of the dock and then, or whatever.
And then Tifa comes up, she's like, it's okay. No, it's not. This whole segment with Tifa is okay, though.
There's not much to say about it.
She's just exploring her past memories inside of a vision from the weapon, but we also see dark whispers clashing with light whispers, so apparently
there are two whispers now.
There are two of them now.
They fly
now. There are two of them.
They fly now.
Possibly.
It's just so silly.
The moment I saw that, they white now.
The moment that I saw that there were two of them, I was just like, okay, I guess we're just doing Kingdom Hearts.
We're doing more.
That's great. It's silly. And I like this segment.
I do want to see Zaya Barrett. Like, I would be into seeing an evil Barrett, but
into it.
Yeah. And
so hot.
Roshex. For some reason, even hotter.
God damn.
Fuck, man. Yeah.
How do we have better ideas than people who had 5 years to make this?
We've already made some really much better choices, I think. Sephiroth reveals himself in the Dark Whispers before plunging his sword into the materia orb, trying to hit Tifa, but she makes it to the surface. She awakens, and Cloud and her discuss their past, and they nearly kiss. This is some straight up like Anakin slaughters the sand people, and Padme's like, I'm fucking hot about this.
You know what? People like bad boys.
Yeah.
Brad, I watched you almost kill a man once.
He almost tried to kill me, so I think I'm ready for first kiss.
She was so forgiving. I thought there was going to be a whole arc of them being like, we don't trust you.
It would have made sense.
Didn't happen at all.
Yeah. Yes. At this point, though, we're ready to move on from the Gungaga region. We've got our Kajata, and we get introduced to Sid Highwind.
I love him.
I love Sid. I wish that they wouldn't have neutered his character too much. I think the fact that he did a lot of bad things and maybe is not a great person.
I think they're retconning that.
I think it's stronger if he is still
kind of a shithale.
You need a character arc, and if he's already like being nicer about things, I don't know. Clockwork Orange works because
here's the thing. I think that there's room for complicated characters who do something bad, but you find something you like in them.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what real life is. I think that's what adult storytelling kind of is.
Yeah.
In my opinion, nobody is like A or B. I really like him in this, though.
He's still great.
Yeah.
I like his design. His voice actor's great.
What's the name of his partner who he share?
We'll go with Cher.
Do you believe I'm at love?
Sid always drinks too much and punches me.
I mean, if I can't get to space, I constantly drink because I can't reach the moon.
Well, and it's because he made a decision to save her life rather than go to outer space, and he blames it on her, and she's like, it is my fault. I deserve this. And but no, it's like
I know, but
it's a real life cycle that happens with people.
It's a real life thing, yeah.
I also, I guess I find it a little...
Sid is younger than me?
I find it annoying a little bit, though, that, like, this is Sid, but we don't get him yet.
I was annoyed.
And it happened.
I hated this.
Yeah.
In fact, I know they're saving Sid and Vincent as the two new playable characters for the last game.
But when they just start tagging along, I'm like, they're there.
I'm not into it.
They're there.
No, I know. They're right there. You know, at some point while you were flying, he should have been like...
They fly now.
You know, I'm really good with a lance. Have you ever...
Or he could just say, don't touch that. That's my lance.
Do you know what a dragoon is?
They jump a bunch. They go, spoop. They fly.
They fly up in the air and they stab people.
I'm excited to see that. That combat dynamic is
So
Matthew
great. Mercer plays Vincent Valentine.
Yeah.
That's insane. He's the guy who played Ganondorf.
They also, for the voice actor, they told him he was coming in to just read some background characters. And then the screen he was looking at with the dialogue is like, what if Matt played someone else? And then it faded to Vincent. And he's like, what? He did
a good job. I think Vincent is really entertaining in this.
I think all of the voice actors pretty much knock it out of the park.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Aerith, so my wife had a problem with Aerith.
I do too. I find her character quite cloying.
She is too ditzy. A little bit like this, a bit too much. Like, LOL. Like, she knows what's going on. Can't you just tell people what's going on?
She flirts like a middle schooler.
I know.
Yeah.
Tifa doesn't flirt at all.
No, but she does almost get killed many times by you.
Wow, what a fucking Schrodinger's date box.
That's a redeeming quality, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Cosmo Canyon region, what'd you think?
I love Cosmo Canyon.
Beautiful. Well, I'm talking about like the whole thing.
Outskirts, everything about Cosmo Canyon rules.
It all fucks pretty hard.
It is maybe what I would say, like, remember when I was saying, like, be prepared for Cosmo Canyon. It's going to take you a long fucking time.
It's a big area. And
I like that Chocobo mini game.
The one where you have to, like...
Where you can use gyroscopes.
I don't use the gyroscopes for anything. It's too inconsistent.
I mean, tell that to me in my GT7 playthrough.
Well, that's a horse of another color. A chocobo of another color.
No, I liked it a lot. I think that elaborating on this was the best thing they could have done.
Yeah, I all of the gliding chocobo stuff is great. I like this region quite a bit. We see a lot of Yuffie's old friends from Intergrade.
I remember that.
In the Proto Relic one, we get to see a scene of Wedge with them. And for some reason, his main character trait is still that he's fat. And he's like, hey, I know everyone's worried, but I brought sandwiches. They'll help you calm down. And I'm like, who wrote that?
I love fat guys in anime.
That's
literally like what they provide.
I'm hungry.
He's like, oh, I guess I farted again. It's just, I do like it. It's like, whoops, sorry, but I have a heart of gold.
Oh, I ate too much.
Everyone makes fun of me.
I have a few friends that I would say maybe are fat, and not one of them is just commonly says out loud, "Oh, I'm so hungry."
Wait, Matt doesn't do that?
I didn't say that.
Sometimes he says that.
I've never heard him say that.
He says it to me.
Okay.
In secret, he's like, "I'm so hungry and I have to fart."
Dizzy Brit.
You have to keep that in.
I don't give a fuck. It's staying in. Man,
he's not going to listen.
Man, I've just never had somebody like before big events going on like, here, I brought sandwiches. It'll help you calm down.
Matt would, actually.
And I wouldn't eat them.
But that also makes him a nice guy.
Great guy. The whole region outside of there is fun, but also just Cosmo Canyon proper. Mm-hmm. Now, the first thing that happens when you get there is Nanaki is welcomed home, and his voice just fucking shoots up 4 octaves.
Yep. I love it. I think it's a really clever and interesting choice.
To me, it's a shade too far. I get that it's the same voice actor, but to me, I'm also like most people don't have the range of a voice actor.
Who's the voice actor?
I forget offhand.
It's fine. I think it works because it's something that's lost in the first game.
Yeah.
Because there's no obvious, spoken dialogue audibly. And I liked it a lot. I laughed out loud in this game when Barrett's like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah.
I was in a cave with this fucker.
Well, he's about to be. Oh, but earlier as well.
Earlier in the Mithril Mine.
For some reason, Barrett's always paired with Red.
And he's just like, I was with this dude for a long time and he was just pretending.
It does feel a little like he could have told us. We're all friends at this point. We're not like hiding things.
I think he's...
But he wants people to take him seriously. Yeah. And if he admitted like, I'm technically like a kid for my species, then... people would treat you differently.
He's the equivalent of like a 10-year-old in our world,
like a teenager,
something like that.
Yeah. And I will say though, I get that Cosmo Canyon is like a village or a city about reconnecting with nature. The design of the city just seemed super touristy in a way that I didn't like.
No, I didn't like that either.
Yeah.
In fact, it actually looked like they were using more energy than they were giving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes, they weren't giving back.
It didn't seem like...
It's better than Gold Saucer, but it's still like a negative on the whole.
I didn't see like nature flowing throughout it, which is something that the original game actually portrayed really well.
Yeah.
That it's just a face of a cliff. If this were a face of the cliff and you had to go up levels, that might have been more interesting. I also found it extremely confusing.
It was. It's so much. There's just so many tourists there where I think it should have just been like.
Well, there's like an observatory. There's like a mezzanine.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places that you can go.
Here's the like scientific retreat, the discussions, and that's some of that stuff I get. There's just way too many people in that hotel. Seem really gratuitous. Bugenhagen. I think Bugenhagen turned out pretty cool.
He's pretty good.
That's, I think, a character that's hard to translate as well.
They did that well.
Yeah.
I also don't think that that's easy.
Your dude floats on a ball.
But making an old man, I'm going to assume that these animators did everything they could, because my main issue is that everyone doesn't show age very well. So showing like an ancient person, probably someone who's around 100 years old, it's pretty interesting in a game like this because everyone else is at most 55 years old.
Yeah.
I like it.
There's this really old guy who's 35. God damn it. There is a...
God damn it.
The trial.
Yeah.
With... The first part of the trial where it's just Red 13 exploring into the cave with
How do you feel about the wall walking?
It was fine. I didn't love it. It was a whole lot of fine. To me, I'm like... every character doesn't...
Red exclusively.
I liked using him, but to me, every character doesn't need a shtick when you play as them. We could have just controlled Red and not needed him to have a different gameplay mechanic.
Variety is the spice of life, I guess, and I think this one worked. Because there are puzzles, there are things to find if you're inquisitive.
this was an opportunity for me to try and relearn how to play as Red, because he was a character I didn't use a lot.
He was usually on my team.
But this sequence is another one of the highlights of the game when you see Seto, Red's father, encased in stone, and then Bugenhagen explains that he is petrified from a Gi arrow, and he died protecting the village.
Yeah.
And Red's mother knew but kept the truth to prevent a similar fate to happen to Red. And
so Red's mom dies naturally in this one?
I think so.
I thought that he was kind of only with his dad, and then when his dad died, Bugenhagen took him in.
Unsure. But
that's all right.
Regardless, when Red looks up at his dad and has that moment like, I am Nanaki, son of Seto, defender of the Veil, and he has like his big moment, I'm like, awesome.
It's fun.
I liked it. But what I
and
really...
then the howl and then the looking up at it and the teardrop falls from the statue.
Who doesn't want catharsis and reconnecting with a father that they were estranged from?
I don't know. I wouldn't know anything about that.
And for me, it's like, hey, Dad, I'm an electrician now, too. And then he cries one tear.
And he's a statue.
One of my, I think, maybe my favorite segment of the game, though, is when you then go with the Gi tribe across the water.
Weird.
I'm like, this is the shit.
So weird.
This is the shit.
I was like, oh, now it's finally changing.
Yeah.
It didn't, but it did. It implies a lot.
They add a lot to the Gi in this game. Now, the Gi in this game are an extraterrestrial species. The reason they arrived at Gaia is not for the usual reasons, but instead one of self-preservation. Their homeworld was destroyed. Mm-hmm. And since they are not native, they were not welcomed by the Cetra. And since they're from another world, their spirits cannot be absorbed into the life stream, so they can't die because they're not a part of this cycle. Mm-hmm. So they wandered the physical world, and this existence caused them pain, and they sought to find a way out. So through building up their negative energy, they created the black materia in a way to try and eventually free themselves of eternal tortured existence. Much, much cooler creation of the black materia.
Well, it also explains the Gi better.
Yeah.
I liked this. I like the idea that they came from another world and they're trapped now because Gaia is literally the life stream itself.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I have a few thoughts.
You want to save them for later? Okay.
Well, I mean, if we're talking about theories, it's got to wait till later.
Okay. We'll get to it.
All right.
The Cetra discovered and captured the black materia. Cloud suffers a vision of Sephiroth. And decides that while the party will play along for the time being, they agree to help Gin Attack try and get the black materia back. They agree to try and help them, but they all aren't going to help them. So I think that'll be something that happens later. And they learn from the Gin Attack that it might be a place of Cetra worship where it's at, and Skatesith extrapolates that it's probably the temple. And at this point, the robe figures, which is the only reason we go anywhere,
which got annoying after a while.
Bugenhagen's like, oh, the plot says it's going that way now, so we're going to Nibelheim.
I love Nibelheim.
And I like the area around it too. I thought that
I love the silly chocobos in this one.
Yeah, they're fun
with like the jets
and the glides.
Oh, I love it! It's so fun. I actually had like a legitimately good time just gliding around on my chocobo. I was like, all right, let's fucking do it.
And we get to Mount Nibel. The city has been rebuilt. I do like that the villagers will say, like, hey, like, just don't cause anything too weird. Apparently you used to live here. Everything is different now. This is a place that we care for people that are suffering.
Because Katesith needs a code or something. He needs to access a terminal from there.
Yeah. But like the fact that the villagers are just like, we know that you're involved. This is not what it's like. This is a cover, but we're also a village now that just takes care of people that are hurt and just try not cause too much of a fuss. I like that I like that they acknowledge it instead of just pretend.
Being like, oh, no, never.
And this is one part where I was mean to Aerith because I wanted to make sure to get a Tifa date. And I felt,
oh, man.
I didn't even feel bad about it.
That's really rough.
I was like looking at Tifa's house. She's like, oh, you're trying to look at her through the window. I was like, that's not even funny. And then Aerith runs away, and I'm like, okay.
But she's so nice and cute.
I just wanted to get the Kate Sith date.
I wish
Kate Sith, Vincent, Sid date is the best one.
I bet.
It's actually not. No one has a fun time in the entire date.
All of them looking awkwardly at each other.
It's the weirdest boys' night ever. Yeah, we do climb up Mount Nebel again, and we find Murasaki's...
Which is way more entertaining, can we say that?
Going up Mount Nebel?
Yeah.
Why did you find it more entertaining this time?
Because I have more player choice of what goes on.
At the door of the reactor, we discover dead Wutai ninjas and surmise the war must have started. But at this point, Kate Sith gains access to the Shinra Manor, and we enter the absolute low point of the game for me. Kate Sith exploring Shinra Manor.
I had fun.
I
liked it.
He's so slow.
Yeah, I thought it was fun.
He's such a... Like, I wish... If he could move at a normal speed, and the box throwing was horrible, in my opinion.
Truly, I felt like it was an indie game.
Oh, the box throwing mechanic seemed so confusing and broken to me.
Oh, I was... Because I had been playing as that character for so long, I kind of just, like, snapped right in. That part only took me, like, 10, 15 minutes. That's...
Oh, it took me longer. I died at the boss battle once.
Really?
Yin and Yang.
Oh.
Which is just a normal enemy, but it's a boss battle for Kate Sith by himself. Yeah, this whole segment just rubbed me. It's just he's slow. He moves so slow is what really bothered me.
Yeah.
And Shinra Manor, extremely underwhelming from the first game where it is the most gothic, falling apart, crazy cool mansion. This is, it's just another...
Where you can explore, like, the top rooms, the bottom rooms, the basement. You can look around. That's how you find Vincent.
And this is just a factory.
This one is just the first floor.
Well, and then you go down underneath and it's a fucking another factory. Whatever. Yeah. We do find Vincent, though. Vincent was one of the only boss battles that I lost at, I think twice.
The only, you know what? I lost to him once.
Yeah.
And I felt like throwing the controller against the wall. He does not let up.
He's tough. He's very tough.
I got him the second time, but only because I knew what his weaknesses were. And I was able to prepare the right materia.
Yeah. The Galleon Beast.
Yeah.
And you defeat Vincent, though. You talk with him first, and he goes back to bed.
He's just like, I guess I'm already up. I guess I'm up now, so whatever. And then he chooses to join you on the plane. It's the weirdest thing.
I'm begrudging Vincent.
I'm anxious to play as him in the next game.
Well, he's going to be ranged, and then there will be segments where he turns into a beast.
I love that.
I hope they do the chainsaw monster guy, which is just like Leatherface.
Yeah.
I'm into that. Once we get outside the manor, though, we discuss going to the temple, and we have our final boss fight with Roche, who has now got some gray hair. He mumbles he can't escape the degradation, and he collapses. In Midgar, Glenn Lodblock appears on television and decries Rufus's actions as inciting war. He then calls a Saruf to the stand, but no one appears. And yes, they just say, like, we're going to keep looking for Aerith. And we go back to the airstrip to reunite with Sid. And Sid says, hey, Aerith, I'm here to help you because I knew your mom. And I'm like, why didn't you say this before? It seems like you could have said something
like,
before.
Well, what he says is he's like, you look familiar. Was this person your mom? She's like, yeah, we looked exactly alike. And he's just like, oh, well, I had like a crush on her.
We actually like dated for a while.
Maybe, who knows?
I mean, he's old. He's 32.
He's 32.
So he's lived a life at this point.
He's 32.
I did have a good feeling, though, the first time that all of the party member was together in the Bronco. That did feel nice.
It felt good.
Even if the other two characters weren't really there yet.
Well, what's more or less interesting is that there are two characters that are optional.
Yeah.
From the first game. Mm-hmm. So it's Yuffie and Vincent. Mm-hmm. And now they're just canonical because
need to be.
What's the point of not having them there? Mm-hmm. I don't know why they were optional in the first one. I don't quite get it.
Yeah, because there's enough to have them there, but
because there are ways to get them out and make them do it. But if you missed them, you would just be like, "Oh, what a weird ninja girl." I don't know.
Yeah, you just run into her in the trees.
It's
there's
just
not
early
even
game design.
There's not enough to even hint that she would have been out there in the original game. The original game also would have taken us to Rocket Town, and you could have gone to Wutai at this point. Mm-hmm. But instead, we're going to return to the Gold Saucer. I mean, this segment is fine. It's
too much stuff to do. They open up the game and they tell you this is what you have to do before the end.
This is Tiny Bronco Boat, which is fine. I like that enough. You walk in there, you get Dio and the key. Kate Sith starts acting weird, and at the battle square we see a poster advertising an upcoming fight between Dio and Don Corneo. In the arena, Dio is battered and bruised from fighting the Turks, and he says he'll give you the keystone if you fight the Turks in the fight for naming rights. Mm-hmm. Did you enjoy seeing Don Corneo again?
Yeah.
He's a good supporting villain, like a good tier 2 villain.
He's fine. But if I have to face him again in Wutai, I'm going to be...
I like the rap segment for the two fuckers, whatever their names are. Butts and Duts.
Butts and Duts.
We'll go with that.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know. Koch and Scotch.
I think we need several passes on this.
Did you... Okay, so we have our final date. Mm-hmm. And...
It was Aerith for me.
Loveless. What'd you think of the Loveless segment?
I thought it was fine. I was expecting it in the first portion.
Yeah.
It's thematic. It's how I felt the first time I played the game, but when I was 15 years old, I was much more interested in the romantic idea of it.
Well, it's weird to actually see Loveless.
Yeah. That part, very strange.
It's cool that it's a virtual reality theater. That's 100% different now.
Oh, yeah.
It's also
not just
weird.
A stage.
It's weird that they all go to the theater to put those on. It seems like you could just stay at home.
The fact that they all have to be actors, yeah, that's kind of,
yeah,
weird.
Little main character thing.
Till the day that we meet again at our place, just let me believe in the chance that will come. Take my hand and never let me go.
The opening of Loveless is a ballet interpretive dance intro featuring Jessie. That's kind of a...
I miss her.
If you're on a date with Baird, he tears up a little bit seeing Jessie again. Alfred is the main character, is broken out of prison by his lover Rosa. It's going to be Tifa, Aerith, or Yuffie, and to confront the evil Dragon King Varvados and his hound Garm. Barrett's outfit in this is sick.
Oh, yeah.
As the Dragon King, and Red 13 in like that black Garm outfit is great as well. The minigame is another wall market. Mm-hmm. I get it confused with Wall Drug from South Dakota.
Oh boy.
It's another just like hit the fucking.
It's called
button.
Mount Rushmore, Brad.
The Loveless.
Learn.
Well, have you been to Wall Drug?
No, I mean it's Walgreens, right?
No, it's a whole village that's made to be a Walgreens.
That sucks ass.
Now, at one point, you can choose your true love, where you can choose your date. You can choose Barrett or Red. Who'd you choose?
My date.
I chose Barrett.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
What are you doing?
Unfortunately,
you can't do that, Cloud.
It's not that Aerith is a manic pixie dream girl that I'm into. I thought in the first game she was so cleverly written.
Yeah.
And interesting that she knew something kind of behind the scenes. And I thought, for myself, I was more attracted to something like that. The reality is, not so much.
Out of the options here, part of me is also like, I would just like to hang out with Barrett and just have a guy's night out.
I want to learn more about my dog friend, too.
Well, on Red 13's date, he's an excited teenager about everything. He talks about speaking with Aerith in Hojo's lab and that they could glimpse the future but lost it after the Arbiters of Fate.
Oh, boy.
He tells you very ominously that Aerith is in grave danger and you need to protect her.
Jesus Christ, that sounds like something he should have just said.
and then he shakes. He's like, shake on it, and you shake his hand, and Cloud goes, "Oh, they are soft." And I really like that. He's been thinking about how soft Red's hands are.
He just wants to pet the dog.
I want to pet that dog. Yeah, Barrett gives you relationship advice, and you talk about girls, and he gives you very serious, don't miss out on your soulmate. You need to take your chances. Yuffie's date, she talks about how she used to love a soldier. She is quite young to talk about love, but he left her. She says Cloud will be her practice for when she wants to go on a real date. It's pretty cute. Cloud fakes.
It's cute, but it's...
she's too young. Cloud fakes getting hit by her.
I'm not attracted to children.
She kisses his cheek. And yes, Tifa and Aerith, we know a little bit more about them. Kate Sith, Sid, and Vincent, though. Kate Sith tries very hard to make sure everyone's having fun. Vincent falls asleep, and Sid says everything is lame.
I like that.
I'm like, those are my boys.
This sucks.
Is Vincent sleeping again? Yep.
I think one of the few Final Fantasy characters who I truly relate to is Sid, unfortunately. Not in the abusive partner sense, but like...
Well, you used to be 32.
I used to be.
Yeah.
I turned 34.
Yeah, you're almost Barrett, dude. I'm Barrett age.
Whatever. As long as I beat Jesus, I'm good.
When did he die?
33.
Oh, okay. We have the fight for naming rights. A little bit of a boss rush. We fight... thugs, Corneo cactars. Do you like the cactars with the Corneo hair? I think they're fun.
They're cute.
They're fine. 2 Donberry and 1 Donberry. There's also Tonberry variants of the Donberry.
Yeah.
Then
see, I barely remember this part because everything was getting a little too long in the tooth for me.
Yeah.
It's not as if I didn't care. I was just like, okay, I can wrap this up now. I did everything I wanted to in this game.
Yes.
Let's make it happen.
Well, and you have this boss rush, and it's whatever. You fight Rufus, and he's a fun battle because he's a little more difficult. You chase Kate Sith.
Is it a repeat? Oh yeah,
it's a repeat.
Yeah, it's with his dog.
Kate Sith gives the keystone to Sung, and he apologizes to you, and everyone's like, "Dude, no, fuck off." Vincent says he can track the helicopter with the radio on the tiny Bronco. And at this point, though, side quests, this is when the game is very opened up. Mm-hmm. And there are quests that open up in all areas again. None of them are really worth noting. You can have the ultimate Kyrie side quest where you get to see Muriel, the angel of the slums.
No.
Very, very fun.
The old lady who I was annoyed with in the first game? Yeah, okay.
She's back. She's on the beach wearing 5 layers. I was like, could you not change your character design to just have a swimsuit or a t-shirt?
Do old ladies sweat?
Wow, that's really deep. Do androids dream of electric sheep? Do old ladies sweat?
Do old ladies sweat? I don't think I've ever seen an old lady sweat.
I'm just saying.
I don't know.
Someone's got to ask these questions. You have to
Rebirth Part 3. Do old ladies sweat?
You got to win all the Chocobo races. Leslie is looking for his lost lady at the Dust Bowl. You read a children's book with Red 13 and Barrett in Gongaga. I like that one. Did you do that quest?
No. At this point, I was spiraling towards the end.
It's cute because this lady asks for help and Barrett goes, "Oh my God, you're acclaimed children's author. I love your books. I read them to Marlene all the time." It's this real dorky moment where Barrett has a dad moment.
It's cool. I mean, but he's had so many dad moments.
But then you have to go take pictures of Red 13 to inspire her in different locations. And Barrett's like, "This will be perfect shot. Now we need Red over there." I love it. It was one of the quests that actually were fun and added to the characters
I get the feeling before the third one, I will replay this and probably play all of this.
If you want, I can make a guide that says skip 80% of these. We can go to Nebel again and investigate the haunted Shinra Manor. You get access to Hojo's combat simulator challenges.
Whatever.
But there is one side quest, the ultimate side quest, which is the Gold Saucer Can't Stop, Won't Stop. The Shinra middle manager, who you have spoken with a couple times throughout the game, he's the one that you talk with on the train in the very beginning.
That's fun.
He comes up and he's like, "I am the ultimate party animal." I was like, "Whoa, can we hang out?" I was excited.
You were into it.
I was into it.
Okay.
He was a little too excited, but also he was infectious. And essentially, you have to
see when I say that, you walk away.
Well, it depends on what mood I'm in. If I'm ready for the party animal.
Oh, well.
The Dylan party animal is another tier above.
Oh, I rarely get to party animal at this point.
But I've seen him.
Oh,
it's like Chet. You got to be careful of Chet.
Chet's bad.
The Gold Saucer Can't Stop, Won't Stop. You have to essentially get S-class scores in all of the mini games to defeat this final side quest. Then there is the Pirate King treasure, where pirate relics are scattered around, and then you have to fight tougher versions of bosses throughout the map. I think
I did part of that.
This one was fine. I didn't love it. Queen's.
What are we talking about? Like the Mind Flayer and the Quetzalcoatl, or?
I think so.
Okay.
It's underwhelming, honestly. This Pirate King stuff I didn't care for, but you need it to get a certain thing for pirate.
I mean, you say Pirate King, and I'm immediately
and you're like,
interested.
Tell me more. Oh, tell me more. How about Queen's Blood?
I don't like Queen's Blood.
So, at a certain point,
what do you learn about this person?
A quest line to save the world from the Queen, a card that intends to take control of a player of the minigame to take over the world. Lee Drell, the deceased creator of the card game, contacts you spiritually to pass on a tale, which he mentions that some call it a parable, a myth, a fairy tale. A believed queen became hated and evil.
It's all real.
No,
it all happened.
All of it.
Remember that, all of it.
I thought it was a bunch of mumbo jumbo.
You think it's weird, even though it's the most famous thing that happened in the entire world.
Luke Skywalker was real. I know it's 20 years ago and he defeated the Empire, but it would happen.
It's only been 40 years since the Jedi were wiped out, but do you remember them?
So, Regina became possessed by the evil aura of the Queen and almost kills Cloud in the aftermath of their game, but Vincent intervened.
Whoa.
Regina was released from possession, realizing she had become unhealthily obsessed with the game and winning. The Shadow Queen card bound back into the card with the Emerald Witch's power.
Spoiler, I actually don't care. It's all of this is just such whatever
a big
territory for me.
Yeah, I like the card game enough, but I don't know. I guess I like the thought of what they were trying to do with it. I didn't like the execution. Anything that makes me feel like an inscription scratch makes me happy.
That's fun.
I like that stuff. This doesn't quite make it. And then we have Gilgamesh Island. Chadley calls. He tells you about this new location that has appeared from outside of the realm. You have to fight before Gilgamesh, the hardest version of summons, Titan and Bahamut Risen at one time, at the same time, Phoenix and Kajata at the same time.
Jesus, no.
And if you defeat Kajata, I did Kajata first, Phoenix actually can resurrect Kajata to full health.
Oh, fuck no.
The toughest one, though, was Alexander and Odin.
I can imagine. Odin was a tough fight.
Because Odin does have an instant kill attack. But Gilgamesh is the best battle in the game by far. And
really?
It's so fucking hardcore.
It's good?
It's fast. It's nuanced. He's got so many different cool attacks. And this was... I went in first try, and I already knew, like, this is the toughest battle in the game. Mm-hmm. Unleash the mega elixirs. Unleash all of my fucking items that I've been sitting on.
You might as well, because you don't have to use them for the most part.
I'm going to put the music in here. It's the hardest song in the game, too. The song fucking slaps.
Is it Battle on the Bridge?
Yeah. Now, the Temple of the Ancients is in a different part of the map in this game.
Yeah.
For some reason. I guess it's just convenience, but man, the Temple of the Ancients, I don't have a ton to say about it.
No, I don't.
I hated the design. I don't know. Like, I get that it's swirly.
Well, in the first game, it's kind of like an MC Escher kind of drawing thing.
Simpler is better, in my opinion.
I thought that it was more of a puzzle in the first one.
Yes.
At this point, it feels like they really wanted to fucking wrap this shit up.
Well, apparently not, because they also added long fucking segments where the party gets split up and you have to just boss rush. I like the red dragon fight before you get too far into the temple.
I remember that.
When you get split up, though, there's like Cloud, Tifa, and Barret, and then it says several hours earlier, and you get Aerith, Yuffie, and Red 13. Aerith needs to defeat enemies and absorb their little life essence, and then she can swirl around her thumbstick to make things move. That whole thing I found underwhelming. Mm-hmm. You fight Ironclad, you fight Ruden Reno, you fight Elena and Sung. Mm-hmm. Cloud has gone off the deep end at this point. He tries to execute Elena, but Tifa's like, no.
Also, why would you stop him?
Because we've killed 1 million regular grunt soldiers, and they probably are a lot more innocent than Elena.
They are definitely more innocent.
Sung is stabbed by Sephiroth, and he says the nearby pedestal is a key only ancients can use. And at this point, everyone but Cloud must complete a trial. I thought this part was fine. It was interesting seeing kind of what every character's defining thing was. They're like,
test your knowledge.
Their tragic backstory. Mm-hmm. It was cool seeing Red 13 and Hojo's lab being branded. Tifa, it's a rehash. We already know all of Tifa's stuff. Yuffie has a spectral sonon. That was interesting to see some of Intergrade come back. She is haunted though by Nero the Sable, our favorite character.
Dirge of Cerberus.
He has more belts than Lulu, my friend. At first I was like, seems weird that this is Yuffie's tragic backstory, but also she's like 14 or whatever. So if her friend died, that does make sense. Aerith, I thought, this is when we see Barret with his wife Myrna. She's welcoming him home, and he's trying to you did.
I remember her.
That was, and the explosion, he's cradling his dead wife. And I'm like, Barret's story goes fucking hard.
Barret might be the most interesting character
of
the entire game.
I think he's got the most pathos. He has the most...
The way he deals with the idea of violence and where to use violence and how to use violence to achieve his ends.
Yeah.
It's extremely samurai. It's honorable.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I won't do this to just anybody.
Yeah.
I got to find a reason to use this gun arm.
He has such an appreciation for life and a love of the little things. And that's why he fights, is to protect it. Fucking great character.
I mean, it's even in like Advent Children, he's like, we struck oil, like in the message to Cloud on his phone. It's just like, he's like, we found something else that doesn't have to, I mean, I would imagine that still fucks up everything.
The message is fossil fuels.
But like, for them, that might mean something different.
I also think that Aerith... it's the segment where you play as a child trying to help her dying mom, going up to like scary groups. That was very affecting.
Effective. It's very effective.
Oh man, what are you doing, kid? Get out of here! My mom's hurt. Yeah, and this is when we get to see her meet her adoptive mom as well. This is great. I love this segment here. Aerith tries to give a speech, and Cloud says, "No time. We're leaving." Cloud has turned into major dickhead here. He's fully possessed, trying to kill people.
Yeah.
We have the corridor of effigies. Cloud is his own trial in Mako Reactor 1, seeing dead people. Blah, blah, blah. We get a giant live stream television show with the history of the Cetra on the walls, like big animated soldiers and stuff.
One.
It was okay.
Yeah.
I liked it.
I remember it.
The Cetrans were betrayed by mankind, possibly due to Genova. A deceiver stole the faces of the dead, of mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers lost, and the black materia will summon the meteor, destroyer of worlds. We get to fight the Demon Gate. Love the Demon Gate.
It's cool.
Cool concept. And we're reaching the last part of the segment here. You reach the materia. Aerith explains if it is picked up, the temple collapses. Barrett attempts to put it back. This is when Kate Sith arrives.
Does his thing.
We know this thing. Everybody escapes. Kate Sith and his Moogle reappear, explaining that the body that went with the temple was one of many. Barrett throws the black materia to the ground to shake Cloud from his absent-mindedness. Sephiroth picks it up. A giant tendrilled structure forms as Sephiroth beckons Cloud closer. You walk forward.
At this point, I was so tired of seeing this.
At this point, my eyes are behind my head. They're just like, all the way rolled back.
Come on. Please don't.
You walk along the tendril towards Sephiroth, and you automatically pick up the black materia, and Sephiroth wants you to bring it to him. Tifa knocks Cloud over, and Aerith grabs the materia. Aerith does hand it back over to Cloud and explains that she'll always be there for him. Cloud gives the materia to Sephiroth, but then rushes to save Aerith, who's being swarmed by whispers. Sephiroth then uses his sword to sever the tendril, sending Cloud and Aerith into the depths below. I did at this point put down the Zack interludes, but I don't think we need to talk about those really. We kind of went over all of them.
There's not a lot that happens. There is a strange rift in the sky. It happens in his timeline, which is the remake timeline.
It happens in like 5 timelines too. We see a bunch of different Zacks.
I know.
And how different timelines form. When you make this decision, that one disappears. Rainbow colors.
Rainbows.
Yes.
Fuck off. It's just so ludicrous. It's not okay.
Yes.
Well, you're like, yeah. Well,
I'm with you, man.
There's nothing okay with this.
I don't hate the idea. I hate the execution so much. There could have been a cool way to explore these ideas, and to me, it kind of falls flat. All of the Zack gameplay, all of the Zack story just seems so unrelated and so boring and so wasting of my time in an already 100-hour game, which I'm enjoying, but it's just such a down point.
I just have to wonder. There is something about the way, especially, that they told this story. So, the Zack ending is the ending of Final Fantasy VII Remake, right?
What do you mean with the Zack ending?
Where Zack shows up and the Arbiters of Fate have destroyed basically everything.
Well, that ending from the end of Remake is an alternate universe, which now the floodgates are open for all those universes to be different.
But then we have basically the destroyed Shinra building and all of this. So all of Remake is in that universe, correct?
Not in Zack's universe. It's all different.
Me, man.
No, this is like how Doctor Who says timey-wimey, doesn't matter.
The only thing I'm saying is that if you're going to do this, it should be a little more consequential. And by saying multiverse, you get away with a lot of things.
And just most of the multiverse doesn't come back because a lot of those universes aren't who we interact with. But one of the Zacks is sitting in front of the church and Sephiroth walks past him. Sephiroth slices a rift in the...
Which stamp is that?
Fuck, man.
Terrier stamp?
We'll go Golden Doodle. Sephiroth slices a rift in the floor of the church, which has whispers dragging Zack through, but he is saved by a white whisper. At this point, we're in Chapter 14, End of the World. I think that's what it's called. Yeah. Hojo and Rufus agree Shinra's aspirations need to be greatly expanded. You have some weird Aerith date in Midgar about the illusion of choice, where you're all of a sudden on a date, and Aerith says, hey, choose which one of these to buy me, choose which candy you like, and no matter what you choose, you don't get that.
So it's like throwing the baseball at the black couple in
Bioshock Infinite. It's
yeah.
about the illusion of choice, where...
That's not interesting anymore.
Which is antithetical to the concept of a multiverse to me.
It's also antithetical to an RPG.
Yeah. Essentially, no matter what you choose, it doesn't matter. As Cloud falls, Sephiroth's... Oh, man, my fucking brain is hurting.
No worries.
Cloud confronts Aerith, and she says, all right, what's actually happening? She gives you the white materia, a real powered white materia, because the one in the other world is gone. She pushes you into the portal just as Sephiroth approaches behind her. Sephiroth speaks with Cloud as he's falling about how the planet contains a multitude of worlds with countless branching paths and timelines emerging as the boundaries of fate are breached.
This made me angry.
He explains that the worlds will wither and die regardless of how much they resist, that this is a homecoming, not death. You're in a forest at this point. You are in the village of the ancients. Sephiroth opens a rift in the sky. The life stream pours through and merges the worlds together. In the beginning of the reunion, Whispers try to prevent Cloud's approach, but the party narrows a gap for Cloud to go through. And it even says, hey, this is the final rest. Enjoy your bench. You eventually reach Aerith as she is praying. Holding R2 and L2 is prompted to close the distance. The Whispers swirl around Cloud's sword and raise it in the air against his will. Aerith opens her eyes at the end of the prayer. Sephiroth plunges down from above when his sword is ready to strike. Cloud manages to strike and stop the sword just before it hits Aerith, sending out waves of multicolored light.
Which means it created another world.
Another world. With the deflection...
I know what it means. Symbolism. Weird.
With the deflection, the party is able to rush inside. Screen glitches. Sephiroth pulls out his sword. Some of the flashes have blood on the sword. Some of the flashes don't.
Great.
Sephiroth comments on the merging of different realities. Fucking boss time. Genova Lifeclinger, a million party switches.
Yep.
Zack runs around a white space. He touches Cloud, and you are teleported to a strange realm and confronted by Sephiroth. This was incredibly dumb to me. In this boss fight with Sephiroth, they actually give you a tutorial of how to play as Zack.
It's not okay.
I do not want a tutorial in the final boss battle.
Nope.
That was not acceptable.
It's bad news.
And then Sephiroth Reborn, after all of these fights, Sephiroth Reborn, if you assess this, it says, a resurrected being who now wields unimaginable might and commands the arbiters of fate. He seeks to pierce through the layers of existence and reunite fragmented space-time. He shall rule over the planet and create eternity.
Ugh.
Sounds like Kingdom Hearts.
Sounds like Tetsuya Nomura needs to have an editor.
Yep, someone needs to talk to this guy. Zack lands on the flowers in the church. The meteor is close as Sephiroth emerges from it. Zack solo fight. Barret, Yuffie, Red versus Sephiroth Reborn. And then Cloud and Aerith versus Sephiroth. That's the final battle. Let me just read through this ending.
Also, not a great test of your skills up until this point. Yeah. That's my biggest problem.
Bond defeating Sephiroth. He flies. I just got to get through this, man.
I know, man. It just sucks. Like, I was expecting something like whip smart at the end of this, because we knew that the end of this game was going to be the death of Aerith or something different.
And it is the same and different, which I think is dumb.
It's the same and different, which is honestly stupid.
The only theory that I could ascribe to is that Cloud now thinks that Aerith is both alive and dead and that he can see things that aren't there. If this was all just Jenova fucking with him and none of this was actually happening at all,
that'd be all right.
That if they did that twist, but it's also like the Mass Effect 3, like what is it? The
child,
the shepherd theory that he was indoctrinated or whatever.
Yeah,
if much better, but they wouldn't actually do that with this.
No, they won't.
Upon defeating Sephiroth, he flies into the air and laughs as white whispers swirl around it. Cloud and Aerith, she holds Cloud's hand. She returns to the live stream. Zack celebrates alone in the remnants of the church. The floor gives way and Zack falls into a live stream tunnel. Destination unknown. The party tearfully crowd around Aerith while Cloud experiences the event differently. They're all mourning her, kneeling by her body.
They also do not show specifically him carrying her body to the water.
Correct. Because
that's important.
Because he thinks that she's not dead. Yeah. Also, she is dead.
I also think that she's going to reappear pretty quick in that first in the next game.
She'll be all over the next game.
Oh my god.
She'll be the Joker in Arkham Knight with less dancing and Mark Hamill.
Great.
The party is ejected. Cloud sits quietly. He experiences a flash of Aerith's materia falling to the water before realizing she is sat next to him. She explains she'll see them off as the group begin to leave in silence.
What a wonderful scene, though. I did like this.
Yeah, and if they actually, she says that she'll see them off and then she disappeared forever, that would be great. But we know that's not going to happen next game.
No, but
because they leave on good ideas.
Well, Cloud has the materia, and it transforms into a black materia.
Mm-hmm. And then he puts the black materia into his sword.
Yep, he's like,
and the party doesn't know he's got it.
That sucks.
Meanwhile, in the Shinra building, Rufus speaks with Glenn Lodblock. Glenn Lodblock, we like him. About how the war with the Wutai was just a distraction to keep Shinra from stopping Sephiroth. With this proclamation, Glenn laughs and reveals he is Sephiroth. Or a puppet of Sephiroth.
Yeah. What a twist.
In a valley, Cloud inspects Aerith's clear materia while the rest of the party are working in repairing the airship. Everyone's distraught. Red 13 speaks Aerith's name as a version of her that only Cloud can see approaches him, almost as if he can sense her presence. Cloud then discovers he has the black materia.
He can see her.
He has the black materia and prepares to join the others as he embeds it in his Buster Sword. Aerith's voice beckons out not to look up as Cloud spots a rift in the sky, inferring the death of the planet is quickly approaching. Cloud just proclaims Sephiroth's up north. He speaks with Aerith, who promises she will try and stop Meteor. She stays behind, and the plane takes off, and it says, "No promises await at journey's end." I don't believe you.
I believe no promises await. My problem is that There are no promises made.
I promise you there will be amazing gameplay and a bunch of more bullshit in the next game. With some
Honestly,
great moments of the journey, and the destination will suck.
it's true.
We have seen beagle universes of ours, Terrier, Pug, Sheba, and Spitz. A version of Aerith gives her holy materia to Cloud to take to Beagle universe. He gives it to Aerith, and she gives him a blank materia. Cloud is in superimposition, would be the scientific term, and he can see 2 universes at once.
Oh, really?
And let me give you... I'm just going to say the events of what didn't happen in this game that should be in the next game. If you have thoughts, interject.
Please.
Bone Village, Sleeping Forest, City of the Ancients,
Yeah.
Coral Valley Cave, Icicle Inn, Great Glacier.
That should wield a lot of power.
Great Glacier. That'll be a cool spot, I think.
Do you think we'll snowboard?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because in Gold Saucer, they even had a snowboarding minigame that says closed for repairs.
Okay.
The Gaia Cliffs, the Crater, Wutai, Rocket Town. We have Mediel, where Cloud is coma, and then Ultimate Weapon destroys it. The Runaway Train in Coral. That'll be a great sequence, I bet.
That's good.
Underwater Reactor, Submarine Battles. Outer Space. Return to Midgar. That'll be fun. Lucretia's Cave. Knights of the Round Materia. Ancient Forest.
Hell Train.
That's FF8.
No, Hell Train is in 7.
The Summon?
Yeah.
That's 8. Hell Train's not in 7.
Hell Train is in 7.
Hell Train's not in 7.
Oh, no.
My playtime for FF7 Rebirth, 104 hours. After the end game, you now have experience points, and AP is tripled, your gain. You can have chapter selection with hard mode, any outfit, anytime. You can also choose to skip Zack stories, choose your companions, choose your dates. Tactical mode slowdown. You can adjust how the game slows down mid-battle when you select actions. And you can set to material auto-collect. So you run over things, it just picks it up automatically, which seems like something I could have used the whole time.
Seems like they should have just done it.
There are more Musclehead Coliseum fights, more Chadley combat simulators.
Yuck.
And you can unlock the Genji equipment, which is the ultimate items in the game, allowing you to break the damage
Do
limit.
you know what that's from?
From Gilgamesh.
No, the Genji equipment is from Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah, it's the ultimate.
Whatever.
And if you want to collect everything at Johnny's Seaside Inn, there are 88 collectibles, and there's a hard mode.
I would never.
I'm so proud of us. We did it, Dylan.
I just wonder. It's not that I'm curious about where the story goes, because I am.
I'm not. I'm curious for more gameplay. I do not care what happens story-wise.
I want to see where the story goes. This is why I play a lot of RPGs. Tell me what's going on. The problem is that this is just not good.
I don't want Zach to come into the Beagle universe. I wouldn't like that.
He's going to be a playable member.
I want a lot of Sid and Vincent. We're going to explore a lot of their stories next game. I'm going to love that.
We've talked about what this game was going to be.
When we return to Midgar, we're going underneath Midgar, and we're going to fight Nero the Sable. 100%. That's a prediction.
I believe that.
The fact that they're teasing Yuffie having unresolved conflict with him, that just means that's got to happen. The ending, though, will be in the crater again, and it'll be a Sephiroth battle, and we'll save the universe. We'll save all the universes this time.
Well, we haven't gone to the Northern Crater yet.
Yeah. We'll go there.
Here's my thing. All these universes, all of these like slight hints at where you're at.
Yeah.
This is not a thing that normal storytelling does.
Yeah.
And I actually don't think it's okay. Because it doesn't, but it is what it is. But why would you do this? Because anyone else who plays this game isn't going to understand. Because you and I are fucking weirdos, obviously.
Yes.
But
you're saying the average gamer will have zero appreciation or understanding.
Well, it's not even just understanding. It's literally just basic plot structure.
It's basic storytelling. And, if I'm going to play or watch a movie and I'm watching Lord of the Rings, I expect it to have me thinking, have a lot of good action, but it's not like I don't want to hurt my head to try and understand it.
You shouldn't have to.
Sauron, bad. Sephiroth, bad. I don't need a million multiverses and 10 Samwise Gamgees. I do, but unrelated.
I thought that within this game, it was literally going to be Sephiroth in a desperate attack to become the master of that reality.
Yeah.
Because when you destroy Fate in the first one, you're a person or you're like a group on the edge of reality itself.
Yeah.
I thought that it could be something really interesting.
Make him scary. Make Sephiroth plague the party. Make him destroy.
Sephiroth never scared me.
How about this? You're so excited to get to the Gold Saucer, and when you arrive, Gold Saucer's already on fire and destroyed. Sephiroth fucked it up before you could enjoy it.
Yeah.
Any of that. Anything to just heighten up Sephiroth. And the fact that it's a new universe means it's allowed.
The whole point of this was to make something new. They keep, even in the ads, it was talking about welcome to like a new journey or something like that. A tale untold.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I've played this tale in a different way.
Yeah, we know how we feel. The ending doesn't work for us. The story choices largely don't work for us. I think, though, the characters completely work most of the time.
Yes, I actually agree with that.
The beat by beat moments, I think, are fantastic, and the gameplay is probably my favorite action RPG I've ever played.
You're right, and frankly, like I was playing the game sometimes, and story moments would happen, and I would turn to my wife and I would say, "Oh, my friends are all here." Like, not even as a joke.
Yeah,
I would say, "My friends are all here."
We're all in the Bronco together now.
I'm like, we're all here. Like, look at us go.
Yeah.
And she'd be like, well, what do you mean? And I'm like, when I was younger, like, I had friends, obviously, but like, these were also characters I was attached to.
These are friends that I haven't got to spend time with all as a group in a long time.
Exactly.
It's a reunion.
And so it's not going to be called Reunion, by the way.
Well, I know. We already talked about that.
What's it going to be called?
It can't be Reunion because they already used it for Crisis Core.
I know. What's it going to be called?
Advent Adults. Instead of Advent Children.
Advent, Final Fantasy VII.
Advent Calendar.
Retake.
Retelling.
Retold.
Retold's good.
Retold is really good.
Yeah.
Sephiroth. RE, comma
420 over Sephiroth. 69 Sephiroths.
No,
I'm in on that.
At the end of the day, this is a good game.
Bring it home, Dylan. Bring it home.
I think that its ambition is outpaced by itself. I think that this game works on so many levels that I would have hoped for remake. And I think that this game is functional, specific, and
I think it's exceptional. I agree. Yeah.
But I think that it's functional in a way that remake was not. For me,
yeah.
For me, that's not me saying that you were ever wrong, but by implementing the things that the fans were talking about, I think they fucking nailed it.
I think I agree with you so much on these points. I just think the gameplay is just so heads and shoulders above anything else in the field.
It's whip smart.
It's very good.
It's
a shame that the story, I guess the destination, the culmination of the plot falls so far from what I would all it had to do was be serviceable, and to me, it dropped below acceptable.
About halfway through the game.
Not even that, because all of Cosmo Canyon, it's essentially what it is the MacGuffin of follow robed creatures of Sephiroth doesn't work, but every time I'm going to a village and exploring with my friends, that all works on a character moment, on a beat-to-beat moment. All of it works. There are great moments. There are shining gameplay, the boss battles, the enemy designs, everything exceptional. Just I feel so let down by the story decisions ultimately in the end.
And that's okay.
Let's rank this game. Now,
oh my God.
It's going to be all over the place. Final Fantasy X or Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? Rebirth. Inscription or Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? Rebirth. Resident Evil Village or Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? I'd go Rebirth.
I'm going Rebirth.
Hollow Knight or Final Fantasy VII Rebirth?
Hollow Knight.
I'd go Rebirth. On shoot, 1, 2, 3, shoot. Okay.
1, 2, 3,
scissors. 1, 2, 3, rock. Okay, you got that one.
Okay.
Castlevania Symphony of the Night or Final Fantasy VII Rebirth?
Symphony.
I'd go Rebirth.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, paper. You got another one. Jedi Survivor or Rebirth? I go Rebirth. Okay. And that puts Rebirth at number 11 on our list.
Whoa.
It did better than I thought it would. I thought you'd have more negativity on the ranking, so that's
in terms of what the game is, there's no question.
It excels. And it's so generous with its amount of content.
The reality is that there's like fighting combos hidden within that, and that the depth is just more interesting than a lot of other games I've played.
Yeah.
Because you can cancel things, you can move around, you can do a bunch of shit that actually makes...
The scope of the materia.
I know. In this one, it is better than Remake.
So thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you wanted to write a review on your podcast app, that helps us out a lot. Oh boy. If you wanted to leave a like, that's great too. If you wanted to support us in a more real way, you can go to patreon.com/hairofthedogcast. You'll get access to tons of bonus content, bonus episodes, as a ton of great things there. Check out patreon.com/hairofthedogcast. There's a free trial. Mm-hmm. We'd love to have you there. Special thanks to executive producers Ryan Christianick, Kipper, Brian Ward, Jordan Hoff, Phil Wright, Phil Just Phil, Cole Delgardno, Bryant Ross, Kelly Gutowski, and Justin Melly. We appreciate your support. Thanks again, and make sure to check out magicmind.com/HDogcast. Use that discount code HDogcast20 to get that awesome opportunity to check out Magic Mind at a nice big discount. So we want you to check that out as well.
If you aren't magic, you ain't got no mind.
That's all I needed to hear. And on that note, just make sure to not start any multiverses or something. I don't know, whatever.
I mean, we do it every day. Whoa. Every decision we make, every breath we take.
I'll be watching you, Sephiroth. We'll see you next time.